So do you remember the first time that you met Pete Gillen?
Not the first time. I think it was at the Gaucho gym, but when he came to visit, oh yeah, it was definitely interesting. He came to the projects, came to the pissy elevator, and people watched him walk in with his ring, his Xavier ring on, and they made sure who the hell he was. He wasn't going to be a private eye or investigator or anything like that. So he was checked at the door, you know what I'm saying? But it went well.
All right, welcome back into the Xavier Basketball 100 Years podcast interview series brought to you by Heartland Bank. In today's interview, we have one of the most dynamic point guards in Xavier history and 2003 inductee to the Xavier Hall of Fame, Jamal Walker. All right, well, now I would like to welcome in Jamal Walker to the Xavier Basketball 100 Years podcast brought to you by Heartland Bank. Class of 1991, Jamal was a four-year starter for the Muskies, known for his versatility, quickness, up-tempo style, and, of course, hitting a big shot or making a big pass in just about every single game. At least that's all I remember, or any fans remember. So, Jamal, welcome into the podcast.
Hey, how are you? Everything is fine, and happy to be here. How are you?
Good. I'm staring out my window right now. It's freezing cold now. I feel like winter's already here. It's rain, gray skies. So, I mean, talking to you is putting me in a better mood that I can talk hoops on a Thursday afternoon here.
I appreciate that. I wish it was a little bit more hotter too, but hey, at least we woke up this morning. That's more important than anything. So
yeah, there you go. So all right, when I think of you and when I talk to Xavier fans about Jamal Walker, they talk about how you always did your thing in big moments. Was that something that you always had? Growing up, playing open gym, junior high, high school ball, like was that just something that you naturally always had?
Well, it comes with the territory, me being from New York and growing up in the city and, playing ball at an early age and being taught the fundamentals at an early age. And the style of play was, obviously the street ball in New York City. That was New York City basketball is a culture. So, every corner, that you hear has a basketball court. So, you get baptized early by the older guys on, what you got to do in order to get on the court and stay on the court. I mean, obviously with the basketball in the city, you're playing, going outside playing ball. We didn't have the video games and the Twitters and all that stuff. So you want to be on the court. So when you're on the court, you want to stay on the court. In order to stay on the court, you got to play well. So, or you'd be waiting for a long time in this game if you're really not that good. So, you learn early, how to, do a lot of things. And obviously playing, I played for the New York City Gauchos, which was a major program in New York City. And, had that prestige of, you had to play well in order to be on the court. So I played with a lot of teammates. I played with a lot of players I played with, made it to the NBA, and a lot of players played college ball and, was major basketball players. So it was good to come from that type of culture.
Was there anybody in particular growing up for you that really sparked the interest for the game of basketball?
Meaning who I copied or
just a coach or someone that kind of, got you into the game, or was it more family driven?
No, I mean, I was raised by, like I said, the city. We played a lot, but Mr. Page was, God rest his soul, he died at 105 years old. He taught me the game of basketball fundamentals and then passed me on to one of his other mentors, which was Dave McCollin, the Gaucho organizer and coach there. And he taught me more and raised me to, play hard defense and, and to just play hard all the time, and play well all the time. You didn't want to disappoint. And like I said, within our basketball family at the Gauchos and in the streets, you just had to play all the time, and you had to bring it. And it was something that, pushed me to, want to come and do well. Honestly, with our team, all our team were all college basketball players. They're all scholarship basketball players, and that's hard. And I don't remember ever playing and worrying about playing time or worrying about coming out the game. It was just something that we all said, well, we got to play well in order to win. We were all winners, and we knew it.
Well, you seem like you were a guy that developed your game more by playing 5-on-5, open gym, indoor, outdoor. It didn't matter. So, what do you think of this online movement, social media, of all these skill workouts and trainers putting out videos? What was your mindset in improving as a player? Were you much more focused on playing and bettering your game on the court?
No, I mean, honestly, it was just more. It wasn't. I was taught the fundamentals, and obviously we had to work on it, so it was all repetition. But the thing about our situation in New York City was that we played all the time. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't no video game. It wasn't nothing else to do. I wanted to stay off the streets. My peoples in the neighborhood wasn't going to let me be a street guy. So I had that type of support. It was just a different era. Now, I honestly support what's going on now just because the way the era is going now and the way things are now different. I grew up in the different, 60s and 70s, and New York City was very, very tough, very, very rough gangs, violence, everything like that. So, to have the support system of the culture that we had for playing basketball was just big. It was a big deal. Mm-hmm. Now, raising my son and him doing, workouts and individuals and video, like you said, video stuff is what it is, and I support it. I have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'd imagine that you didn't grow up watching Xavier. So, when did Xavier come on your radar? I mean, maybe you did. I don't know. But growing up and playing in New York, I doubt that you were following Xavier basketball day in and day out. So, when did Xavier kind of become one of the schools that you were looking at?
Honestly, like I said, it didn't matter to me. I think what happened with Xavier is that I went and played with the Gauchos in Las Vegas in a tournament. We was kicking butt in the tournament, and I guess Pete Gillen found his way out there, and I guess he went to go see somebody else because I know he wasn't looking for me. So, and then finally got a chance to saw that I could play, and contacted my high school coach at Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx, and it went from there as far as being recruited in that situation. I wasn't highly recruited. I was only 5'7", 5'8". But I knew I was going to college. I just wanted to make sure I would go to school for free. Like I said, I honestly, it was just a great opportunity. I took a visit and brought me in, and I just had the confidence that I knew I was going to play. I mean, honestly, when I saw, after he started recruiting me, I saw the '87 team that won with Byron Stan, beating Duke, not beating Duke. They played Duke and ended up beating Missouri. And Derek Chivas, who's on that Missouri team, is a Gaucho, in New York City. So, that was something that, I looked at, and it was just an opportunity that came about, and I just knew I was going to come here and play.
So do you remember the first time that you met Pete Gillen?
Not the first time. I think it was at the Gaucho gym, but, when he came to visit, it was definitely interesting. He came to the projects, came to the Pissy elevator, and people watched him walk in with his ring, his Xavier ring on, and they made sure who the hell he was. He wasn't going to be a private eye or investigator or anything like that. So he was checked at the door, you know what I'm saying? But, it went well.
Very recognizable guy, Pete Gillen. I mean, he walks in with the ring, the red hair, the accent. I mean, and the two of you guys have enough personality to fill up a whole stadium. So what was it like playing for Pete? And because I think you guys, it sounds like you had a fantastic relationship.
It was a coach's players relationship. It was nothing special about it other than that, we both wanted to win, and I knew what it took to win. But like I said, he had a structure. He had to keep it organized, and he was getting a check. So, now I realize what was going on. Before I didn't care, just keep me on the court, and I just want to play ball. So it was something that, we was winners and we wanted to win. And I thought Xavier had a chance to do a lot of things. And I had an opportunity and I was going to take advantage of it.
So you mentioned the structure that Pete Gillen had. Was that a big change for you going from high school to playing at Xavier under his structure?
No, it wasn't. My high school coach was very structured. So that was the difference between playing street ball and then have the structured high school basketball program. I played at a Cardinal Hayes, and back in my days, the Catholic High School Athletic Association is one of the top leagues in the nation. You know what I'm saying? It was a national league. If you know New York history, the Catholic School League is big. So, we played major high school basketball. And I think I went to the city championship in 86, 87, and I was all city. in New York City. That's 5 boroughs, so that's a big deal coming out of New York City. So I was ready. I was ready to play, and I was ready for the challenge. And like I said, Pete Gillen just took it to another level once I left high school basketball.
All right, then when you came to Xavier, I mean, I think people quickly find out how big the rivalry is between Xavier and Cincinnati. You were a big part of many of those games, but the one game in particular, January 31st, 1990, you hit a game-winning three to seal the deal. So, what did that game mean to you, and what did that moment mean to you?
It was a big deal, obviously, with the city rivalry that went on. I think I got baptized early being a freshman with Byron and Stan and being a senior and Dexter Campbell and, Stan Kimbrough and playing with those guys. My freshman year, I got in and I produced some, and we beat them really bad. In my sophomore year, it was a difficult situation because we lost, and the home game was their home game, and we were sharing the Gardens at that time. Then my junior year with Tyrone and Derek and Jamie Gladden, Michael Davenport, and myself, Colin Parker, Bob Kessler. We had a nice little team there. And we were ranked that year. And UC was playing well with their big guards, and they had a big team. And, they had Bob Huggins I think it was a rookie year, at that year. But, we played at the Gardens, and it was a wonderful thing. And they were actually winning. We went into overtime, and they won. And Mike Davenport hit some big threes and put us back in the game. And honestly, when the opportunity came about to score, and they left me open, and it happened. So, it was just a good situation just because, they put me in that situation, and I took advantage of it. So it just shows, never give up and take advantage of your opportunities.
Do you remember Coach Huggins and the athletic director from UC chasing down the referee after that game?
Nah, I don't pay attention to that stuff. Like I said, I was just a focused dude. I never really worried about any of that stuff. Like I said, I was more about worrying about the court and then being able to talk mess to the other guys on the other team because those are my friends now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you're playing with those guys all the time. And
yeah, the summer leagues and you seeing them, and it was about basketball. So that's what it was all about, and we did it. And we had bragging rights for that year.
All right, and the other game was the NCAA Tournament win against Georgetown. A big-time victory, obviously, over Lonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing were both on that team, correct?
Listen to you, Patrick Ewing. Good Lord, you're trying to age me, huh? That was the Kembe Mutombo.
Oh, my Tumbo. Gosh, my fault.
Yeah, Lonzo Mourning, good, but both NBA Hall of Famers. Yes.
Listen, I'm not ESPN right now. I don't have a stat guy in my back pocket. I got these halfway written cursive notes in front of me. I mean, it looks terrible. So I apologize.
I wish I did play with Patrick Ewing. That would have been a great opportunity. But no, I mean. Honestly, it was the thing that Georgetown was the Big East, premier team in the league, and we were just small Xavier. Xavier used to call us back in those days, Xavier.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where it fell into place that year. That year was a funny year because, we had my freshman year. We were our first NCAA tournament we went to. We lost to Danny Manning in Kansas, and they went to win the NCAA tournament, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our sophomore year, our first round game was against Michigan, and that whole team went to the NCAA championship game and won it too. And we lost to them the first round by only a couple of points. With Glenn Rice, that Michigan team, their whole team went to the NBA. My junior year is when we broke through. We got a good seed, even though we lost in the MCC tournament for the first time. We still got a good seed to go to the NCAA, and it just felt good. The seed we got, we played against Kansas State, and we wound up beating them. Tyrone and Derek played real well that game, and then that next game was against the Big East tournament team, Georgetown, and they were the fan favorite, the national team, and John Thompson, God rest his soul, he was the big time coach that changed the NCAA rules and regulations on black coaches and how they, were treated. And he was definitely a major factor in that game. And it was just a great opportunity for Xavier for us to, be on a national map. And I can tell you now, 30 years later, I'm assuming, I knew we were going to win the game. It's just how we were going to win it and how much time it was going to be on the clock. Mm-hmm. It was just a great thing. It was just a great opportunity. But, we handled it well. It was a great time, and it was great for Xavier. It was great for us as young, whatever age we were, 19, 20-year-old kids, having fun on the court.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys just dominated that moment and your performance. 15 points, 9 assists in that game, and I went. You can go on YouTube. You can watch the game. I watched your post game interview. Really well done. I mean, really nice job out there too.
Hey, we were young. We were happy. We were fun. I mean, you're playing in front of 50,000 people, and Bill Rafferty, who you see on TV all the time, and Brown, James Brown. You see him on TV. You get an opportunity to represent your city or where you're from, and represent Cincinnati where you're living at and staying at, and it was the real deal. I got an opportunity to look at it. It was fun. It was funny. I showed my son, and he's laughing and telling me things that I did wrong, like as usual. So it's crazy, but we had a good team. Like I said, Tyler there were NBA prospects. Kemba Mutombo, NBA Hall of Famers, and you see before they became that, how we were, and it was good. It was good for Xavier. We had a great time, and I can't remember a lot of this stuff, but I do know that it took us a long time to get home. The crowd was crazy. We went to a hotel, and it was just madness at the hotel. I never saw anything like it, and it was good.
I mean, that's just a statement game that puts a school like Xavier on the map. I mean, and it's still huge for the program. And as I've kind of gone through the podcast interviews and talked to former players and coaches, just outstanding stories and amazing how far the school has come in such a short period of time too. So
yeah, you never anticipate the effect it would have, and I never did. But now you see it now when you get older. It's like, wow, we really did some major things, and it was good for the program, good for the city.
Yeah, helped put a new arena together, about a decade after that, too. So that helped out. So, all right, last thing I want to touch on with you is just getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, we talked about the winning team, some of the great moments, taking Xavier to the Sweet 16, scoring over 1,000 points. I think you're still top 25 in assists as well. So, what did that mean to you to get that recognition?
It's all part of development. I mean, it's all part of playing with players that push you. The Stan Kimbroughs, the Byron Larkins, the Mike Davenports, the Jamie Glattons, the Colin Parkers, the guys that I play with, even outside of the basketball. When I got here, I didn't do a lot of things, so I got to play with the older guys, the Ralph Lees, the Richie Harrises, the Walt McBrides, the Leroy Greenwiches, and a lot of the NBA guys that used to come in Cincinnati from Louisville and all over that used to play. So I got an opportunity to play against a lot of people in my career, and that helped, whatever I did as far as putting stats together, and it was a good deal for me because I think that you look at it overall that I was productive within that arena, and it gave me something to look back at, and it was good for my family to look at and see, and my people in New York to look back and see, and I'm proud of that, and I'm happy for it, and it's in the record book, so you can't change it now. So that's a good deal. I think when I graduated, I was top 20 in scoring. But the major thing that I looked at is that, and out of all the Xavier guards or players that you really had, I was the only one with over 1,000 points and over 500 assists at that time. And I think when Two came, he's from New York too. He finally broke that, but that's 20 years later. So, I wore that hat well, and I was happy for it, and I'm glad to be in that category.
Awesome. Well, Jamal, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you jumping on with me. Xavier Nation, you're still talked about all the time. So thanks for reliving some of those great moments.
I appreciate it, and thanks for calling, and good luck to you and your endeavors, and you can continue to communicate. I appreciate that.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning into that interview with Jamal Walker. Please like or subscribe if you haven't done that already, and stay tuned for more Xavier Basketball 100 Years podcast interviews.
Holloway, 11 to go. Holloway kicks it out. Crawford, 8. Crawford's got to hurry. Up. Oh, no!